If I told you you can compete against anybody in the world, including the number one person in your industry, that sounds cool, but it doesn't sound believable. But if I said I'm going to tell you how to compete against anybody in the world, including the number one person in your industry, that sounds a little bit more believable. And that's what we're going to do. I'll let you decide by the end of this if this is true or not, but I'm going to tell you right now, without a shadow of doubt, this is true. Everything we're about to get into right now. Anything you're doing, if we're in the modeling world, we're going to tie it back into this after I give you a few other examples. Anything we're doing, we have an advantage over other people. It doesn't matter what it is that we're doing, we have an advantage. Not everybody knows how to find or spot that advantage that they have. And even if they can spot it, not everybody knows how to use it. Now, we're going to get into this. And if you don't use this from here on out, you cannot blame me. This is on you. So, everybody knows the David and Goliath stories, the tortoise and the hare stories, and all those stories where the person or the thing that's supposed to win in whatever event, whatever engagement it is, whatever the challenge, they're set up perfectly. They're supposed to win this thing, and they end up losing to the person or the thing that was not at all set up. All the odds were stacked against them, but somehow they came out victorious. What we want to take away from these stories, we're going to boil it down very, very simply. If you know what to look for your advantages over the opposition, you could use that in your favor. So, David and Goliath, if you're huge, if you're a big person and you're fighting a really tall or a really small person, the small person tends to be fast. Now, there is an exception to this. Mike Tyson, he was big and fast, but he was short. But, you get what I'm saying. The big person is typically going to move slower than the small person. So the small person should use speed to their advantage. This is like the gamification. Video game players, gamer nerds know these things. When you're building your character and you're like, oh, what character do I want? Do I want the wizard? Do I want this? Or do I want the big sword? Do I want all these things? The shield, it's heavier. I have to drag it around. I move slower. It's the same thing in real life. If you are a model and you're going up against people who you feel like are so much more attractive than you have to figure out what your strengths are that they don't have. If you're going up against anybody, the dating world, right? For men, the dating world, if you're short, typically that's the biggest challenge you're going to face, right? You could be a handsome man and terrific personality, but if you're short, you're not going to land the hot gal, are you? That is not entirely true. And too many men have given this true uh this true stereotype, this true experiential story that isn't always true, mind you. It tends to be true. It's a stereotype, but it's not always true. It's not a universal that if you're short, you can't get a hot chick. That's not true at all. Short men, if I were short, this is exactly how I'm going to play it. This is how I'm going to do it. If I'm going to try to come on to somebody and I'm short and I know I'm in a room full of tall and very striking, handsome men and all these things, if I'm going to try to pick up a gal in this scenario, I'm going to appeal to my shortness. And I would do it like this. Hey, did you know that scientifically speaking, men of my stature live X amount of years longer than large men because your heart has to work a lot harder to pump blood through such a large body. Over all those years, it gets worn out and they die so much younger. So I'm going to be around a lot longer to make more money, to treat you and take care of the family and all these things. Unless you want to, have just a couple of good years with a big guy and then he dies off and then you're left alone. And hopefully he leaves you a lot of money, but the odds are not in your favor for that. Something along those lines. I'm playing my situation to my strength. I'm creating separation. I'm pointing out the differences and letting you know I know exactly what's going on here. We are different. And maybe you are attracted to that now, but I'm playing a long game here. Are you just playing this for tonight? Because if it's just for tonight, yeah, go ahead and do your thing. But I'm in the dating world. I want to have somebody forever, and I'm a better pick than the big guy. Now let's role reverse this. If I'm the big guy and I'm in a room full of all these studly, handsome, beautiful, shorter guys, these little guys, and I need to play this separation in my favor. Now, generally speaking in society, yeah, the taller man, more attractive, blah, 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 blah. Doesn't matter. You still have a strength to your advantage that you can play, and you can play even more strength, even if you have an advantage inherently. And you could do that by, sure, you can go with the shorter guy who might live longer than I do and all these things. But the reality is you need someone that's a protector, and you need someone that's going to protect you, not only to stop the bullets when somebody starts shooting and put their body in the way and actually be able to block your whole body, but you need somebody that's going to make you feel safe when you're walking down the street. Whatever it is, you get my point here. There's always a strength, there's always a weakness. You always have a strength that is just a differentiation, and you have to figure out how to take that thing, and especially the ones that are widely known or very visible. It helps when you point it out before somebody else points it out, or they make the decision on their own using that information without you having a say in it. You want to know what your strengths are, and you want to know what substitute differences for strengths. You want to know what your strengths are and how they play up for you. If you're going against, if you're going up with the most stunning, beautiful person for a job, and it's down to you and the more beautiful person, the more attractive and blah, 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 outwork them. Hey, listen, I have not had to live my whole life just being beautiful. I've actually studied posing. I've actually studied lighting. I've actually studied photography and understand when a photographer is looking for a certain thing and the depth of field and the focus and focal length and all these things. And I understand these things. Someone that's just incredibly beautiful like that probably didn't put in the work that I did. Now, flip roles. The very stunning, beautiful person. Listen, there's something to say about all the studying that goes into posing and photography. And I don't know anything about cameras and all that stuff. But what I do know is that the final image, when things come out, it's just going to look stunning when you have a more beautiful model for this thing. You have a strength in all of these. Everywhere you are, it doesn't matter. It's up to you. It's the limitations you have on yourself on how you are going to play your strengths. Now, where does this come in with auditioning and things like this? If I'm going up against, it's a casting call, there's so many other models out there. Well, there's something you have that they don't, and that is you are you. You have lived the life that you have lived in all of the interests and the things that you're into, no matter what that is. All of those things have worked together to create you. And even if somebody else has those same exact interests and they grew up identical to you, unless they're your identical twin, you look different, therefore you are different, and you have different strengths, and you can play to these in any scenario, any situation in your life, as you should. Play your strengths. It doesn't matter if I'm going up against the biggest business person out there and I'm just a small new startup and I'm just trying to make it in this big, big world. Well, when I work with people, I'm going to make it known, hey, listen, I'm not some big, huge business that's been around forever. And I'm just kind of lazy in how I do things and how I operate. No, I'm in this, I'm hungry, and I'm available to you. The odds of you working with the big wigs, the top brass at a big company like that, good luck. And even if you can, it's going to cost you everything you have in your bank account. Or you can work with me. I'm a smaller guy, smaller business, right? I'm right here with you. You're going to be working with the brains of the operation, and it's not going to cost you everything that's in your bank account that you've worked so hard to build up. That's a good advantage. If we flip those roles, I'm the huge, big business. I've been doing this forever. I oversee everybody. Everybody's beneath me in my business earnings and history and testimonials and all these things. Great. Listen, you can go with a smaller guy, smaller business that's more agile, and you might have direct access with them and all these things. But don't you want to put your investment in something that has a proven track record for a long time through all different market cycles? Don't you want something when you're going to put money up for your business and whatever it is that you're doing? Don't you want something that is without a doubt going to work? All you have to do is just follow the protocol. It's been proven time and time and time again. Don't you want that with your money? I mean, sure, it costs more money. It's because I've been at this for so long. I have so much proof. I have the skills and the know-how that everybody else around town, everybody else that's an option to you, hasn't quite reached yet. This is like the previous video about, Rihanna and understanding how to charge your rate like Rihanna does. It's the same thing where you go, yeah, that would be nice, but here's my rate. Here's what I do. I am this good and I charge this amount, and you can do this and you know what you're going to get. It's going to be the best that you can access. That's what you get right here. Why wouldn't you do it? This is what you need to be doing all the time. Play your strengths in every aspect of your life. Know who you are, know what you have working for you, and create the differentiation to where it's like, oh, I'm not that person. We're auditioning together and I'm very different from them. And here's how. If you have to bring that up somehow, even in your energy and how you present in your auditions, whatever it is, make sure that people remember you for you because you are different. You are unique. And you can use that to your advantage in any scenario, but especially in your auditions. It should read who you are, the type of person you are, the type of interest you have in these things in your audition. Let you shine through. Remember that. Let you shine through. Now, if you want more of this action and more people to support this type of thing, come join the Skool community, skool.com/pose to profit. That's school with a K. Skool.com/pose to profit.